Okay, hello. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Top Mac Studios Northrop YF-23A, or Black Widow as it got called, in Flight Simulator 2024. So, full disclosure, I've always preferred the YF-23 over the F-22. I think the wrong aircraft won the competition. I've always thought that. I've watched numerous documentaries about it, I've read books about it. I think it was a political decision. It was about sharing out work between different manufacturers, or that's what it seems to have been the case of. So it was nothing to do with which was the better aeroplane, because it's quite obvious on paper the YF-23 was the better aeroplane. Anyway, it's available in the simulator at last. So let's go and get the drone camera and go and have a look at it. So I will be covering the YF-22 as well, so I have got it for the simulator. I'm just going to zoom in slightly. We'll have a look around the aeroplane. So we've got it on the ground here at Coningsby in the UK. Which obviously is not where it would have flown from. But I've got a nice version of Coningsby, so needs must. So we'll just have a pan around the aeroplane slowly. This is the PAV-1 prototype, so it doesn't have any lights on it, and it doesn't have any heating equipment in the cockpit, which is accurate to the PAV-1 prototype. If we go and have a look underneath, we can see that the bay is open, and there's a great big bay underneath where it would have carried weapons. Covers on the engines. It's all really nicely done, isn't it? Should we go and have a close look at the modelling of the undercarriage? Done a good job with it, haven't they? What about up in the undercarriage bays? Yep, it looks very, very good. I imagine they've gone and photographed one of the ones that's in the museums, because the various prototypes that were left at the end of the competition are in museums, so you can get very close to them. So it will be interesting to see how well modelled this has been done, with all of the thousands of holes in them. Yeah, they've done it, haven't they? It's not the best resolution, but it's pretty good. The thing that always strikes me about the YF-23 is just the surface area. As an aerodynamic body, that is a colossal area. Okay, so let's have a look in the cockpit. I think, based on, obviously the information that was available to the developers, the cockpit is more or less as accurate as it could be, even down to, because some of the documents from the competition are declassified, so the layout of switches is obviously going to be fairly accurate. I think what appears on the multifunction displays will be made up, and the documentation pretty much says that. It's pretty good though. So if we go behind the ejector seat, you can see the controls for the canopy. Okay, should we go and take it for a test flight then? I've not actually flown it yet. So, just on about it looking similar to an F-15 inside the cockpit, most test aircraft will have retrofitted avionics kits from other aircraft. So a good example of that would be the F-117, which has got lots and lots of F-16 bits inside it. Obviously you can't see them from the outside, but the prototypes of the F-117 had almost a whole F-16 inside it. So yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, let's go and press Shift and X, which puts us inside the cockpit, and turn head tracking on, see if it's going to work. It seems to work. So I'm going to use some shortcut keys, and I'm going to work through a functional procedure, and I'll put a link to this in the notes of the video. I really should have put it in already, but I want to validate it before I make it widely available. So I've written up functional procedure to get the airplane up and running, and it's quite an interesting one. So we're going to press Shift and 7. We have to go and put the util switch to on. So notice the canopy is open at the moment. We'll go and put the util switch to on. And then go and put the emergency switch to on. And then Shift and 1. We should be able to go and turn the panels on here. So some of these get remembered between sessions. So within the system here, we can go to the M key, which is the menu or main menu, and then you can go to config, and you can turn things on and off like the pilot. So you can turn the pilot on and off. So if we go then and look down, or if I press Shift and space to do this, you can see we've got our own body in the aeroplane. Now that's on by default, and I had turned it off while I was working through the procedure, so it obviously remembers. So I'm going to leave it off because his arms get in the way of the switches. But this allows you to then get rid of the equipment around the aircraft, so the chocks, the ladder, the tow bar and the ground tug. So if we go and have a look outside now, all of the covers have gone, for example, and we are clean. So we go M to go back to the main menu. So obviously you could go and then switch on the other side as well, and you could go and configure these exactly as you want them. So we might on the right hand side have the what should we go for? The range. Oh, sorry, the HSI might be useful. And then obviously you can bring the range down. And then on the left side you might want to show the engines to begin with, so we'll go menu and then engines. So this is just running on batteries at the moment. So let's go and get the airplane spun up, shall we? So Shift and 7. We need to go and put the oxygen system on. In the prototype there's heating here for the jerkin, so this is a bodysuit for the pilot because it had no in-cockpit heating system yet, which is quite interesting, I think. So we're going to go and put the power to norm and the oxygen supply on, so we'll sound like Darth Vader all of a sudden. We'll also go, we have to kind of duck down to see this. The canopy switch, and this is accurate, is hidden right under here. Okay, so once we've done that, Shift and 6 brings us over. We can go and turn the APU on. And we'll get a green light will come on when the APU is ready. So once that's ready, we can come over to this side, turn the generators on, and then turn the bleed air to both. And then anti-collision lights can go on. So they're over here. And then we've got the engines up here, haven't we yet? So we're ready to go with the information for the engines. So we're going to start the right engine first. So the crank switch is here. So we'll go right engine. And we're watching the RPM for the right engine. We're waiting for it to get to 20%. We go and sit outside. You can see it spinning behind the blades there. 18, 19, 20, and then we can click the lever here which advances the throttle, and it will inject the fuel and the temperature comes up. So once it gets past 50% RPM, you can do the left engine. So we're just waiting for that. Okay, so then will the crank go back into the middle on its own? Yes, it will, look. So then left engine, again we're waiting for 20%, so this is being electrically spun up. And then we have to play a little bit of a game. If we're using the keyboard, we have to move over here because we have to hit this switch here to advance the throttle, and you'll see it come through. The temperature's coming up, so we just wait for that to happen for a few seconds. Visibility is amazing, isn't it? There's almost nothing in your field of view. So engines are up and running. So AP, you can come off. So then we go to close the doors, the bay doors. So if we click this button here, you see them close up underneath. And then the EPU section is on the left panel. I can never remember where half this stuff is. Here we go. It goes to auto. On the right hand side of the plane, we're going to go to the ECS section, which is here, and set the cabin to norm. Or auto, sorry. It's just a flick switch. It doesn't actually have a third setting. So then shift and 6, we can go and arm the ejection seat, and we can press the takeoff trim button. So then we're just going to get ready and make sure the the PFDs are correct. So we could go, for example, for HSI this side, and perhaps fuel while we're playing around with the aeroplane on this side. Okay, so we're more or less ready to go. Remember, the prototype doesn't have any navigation lights or anything like that on it. Although it has a collision light switch, there doesn't appear to be any collision lights installed. That's very cool, isn't it? The animations on the undercarriage. So, which way is the wind today? We're going to need to do an about turn and taxi all the way down Alpha for runway 25. So let's just try out the nose wheel steering to turn the aeroplane around. We've missed Alpha, haven't we? Okay, a bit more taxiing. playing with the controls. While we're taxiing, should we give it a bit of a burst of throttle? I'm just going to go check. I'm not sure if I've got any other traffic switched on because I was using say intentions recently. Let me go and have a quick look. I probably turned it off. Yes, I have. Okay, let's see how this thing flies. So we're heading, I'll show you where we are on the map. We've taxied down runway 25. We'll do left circuit and see how we get on, just with a visual circuit. That's 100% military. 120, 150, rotate gently, and we're up. Gear up. We are accelerating so quickly. Bring it back to about 70% military power. Just hold it steady. Look at it yawing in the crosswind. It's very steady though. To 1,000 feet. The airfield. Just doing it very gently and you get a feel for it. Surf's coming up towards 3,000 feet, so let's Not climb too much higher than that. That's crept up to 350 knots nearly, look, already. It's so quick. There's the runway over there. It looks so much better than an F-22, doesn't it? Rain. There's rain showers all over the place in the UK today. Let's try the spoilers out. So I think he uses crow braking on the wings to lose speed. Let's try that again. Manoeuvre's okay. So I am aware of how much of the tail sticks out. So you haven't got much of an alpha angle you can get away with on landing. So you have to come in fairly quick. So I'm guessing about 150 knots minimum. Let's drop down onto the Pappy right slope. Ooh, crosswind. So we're just going to do a touch and go. We are not accelerating straight up, but we're not far away from it. So what happens? Will it tumble? It's come up to 24,000 feet straight off the runway. I've pulled the throttles to idle just to see what happens. So we're showing 0 on the speed. So it's essentially falling straight down on its belly. And we can spin it. And it's getting some forward momentum now. So 140 knots, 160, 80, 200. Still haven't opened the engines up. Down to 13,000 feet. So let's fly out towards the Mach Loop. So we want to go east basically. Sorry, west. Sorry. We want to go west. So we'll turn the aeroplane at 100% military power and see how fast it will go without reheat. Put in a gentle climb up to say 36,000 feet. Mach 0.86. We're climbing 100% military. And it's accelerating towards Mach 1, so it can do supercruise without too much trouble at all. Mach 0.96, 0.97. There we go, we're supersonic. So if we come behind us, we get the sonic boom. So coming up to 30,000 feet. We'll open the engine up in a moment. So this thing was well known to be much faster than the F-22 in a straight line. So let's go and take it up as we go across country. For fuel. Lots. So we still haven't really opened the engines up properly. Coming up towards 38,000 feet. Mach 1.2 coming up. 50,000 feet and see how we go. Holding on to that Mach number remarkably well actually in such a steep climb. So up through 45,000 feet. feet. It's 50,000 feet. One way to drop the nose, isn't it? So what's the fuel burn rate like? Pretty horrific at these sort of speeds. It's not going as fast as I thought it might. Or it's not accelerating as fast as I thought it might. Mach 1.3. So it's making our way over towards Eryri, or Snowdonia as it used to be called. Coming up for Mach 1.5. Turn the afterburners back off. It is shifting, isn't it? So in terms of the avionics, you can obviously play around as the heading bug moving around. I'm not sure how you manipulate course. I don't think you can unless you're in the correct mode. But you can do things down here, look. So VLR mode, no, it still doesn't show course. Mach 1.4, let's open it up. I'm not sure what the best altitude is for thrust. So it's coming up through 1.5 straight away, look. Let's pull the nose up to stop us descending it much below 36,000. Mach 1.7. I'm not sure what the beep was. So coming up over the top of Chester, Liverpool to our right down below. Descend down and turn towards Snowdonia. Supersonic. So yeah, there's conversation happening in the live stream comments about the prototype competition. There's lots of really nice documentaries on YouTube about it. But yeah, the YF-23 could be argued it was the better aeroplane, and I certainly think it was, but it's not as simple as that. You only have to look back at aircraft like the F-111, where by far the worst aeroplane in the competition, with the most promises that weren't kept, won the competition. So let's just have a quick look. Yeah, we're going to loop around the headland, come in over the Mach Loop, where we normally would. This might be the fastest loop of the Mach Loop you've ever seen. But after watching some of the documentaries and reading about it in several books, it would appear that Northrop didn't win it because they already had several big contracts, and it was almost a case of the government propping up several companies at the same time with contracts. So this is the PAV-1 prototype. You get several in the pack. I'm on Supersonic again, aren't we? So just before we do go into the Mach Loop, I think it might be fun to show everybody how manoeuvrable this thing is. There goes the speed of sound. Ray, my pilot out there. about to hit the ground. Yeah, we are now. And again, we can't see where we're going. This is the problem with the outside view in Flight Sim. You really can't see where you're going. It's like you go for a nice camera shot, and then the airplane plows into the dirt. Okay, so Mach Loop time. So we're coming in Mach 0.85. I'm going to come off the throttle a little bit. Phone mast. Knocks the pilot out every time, doesn't it? Here's the way in. Goes so quickly, I'm going to have to slow down. The turning rate is just phenomenal. Trouble is, it's let go of the air then, look. We had about a 30-degree alpha angle when that could turn. It's just violent. It would take a lot of practice to do it smoothly. As we look, Mach 0.7, 0.8. Mach 1.1, 1.2 coming up. It's crazy fast. Air brakes. One more loop. We'll try and do this a little bit more smoothly this time, hey? keep off the fuel just to finish the lap and get back to Valley. Okay. Should go above the weather. Something wrong. Have it broken the airplane? Or is it a bug? We've got a flutter going on. Maybe we overstressed it. Okay, let's go back down to Valley. Fly through the gaps in the clouds. Off down towards Anglesey. Going over Lambetta, and then we've got Carnarvon, and then RAF Valley. How are we doing for fuel? Almost out of fuel on the wing tanks. I think we're about to run out.
Warning, fuel low.
We may have to go Lambetta.
Warning, fuel low. Warning, fuel low.
We're not going to make it to Valley.
Warning, fuel low. Warning, fuel low. Warning, fuel low.
Which way's the wind?
Warning, fuel low.
20 knot
Warning,
crosswind.
fuel low.
We're going to have to loop in and come straight in.
Warning, fuel low. Warning, fuel low. Warning,
Well, this is
fuel
saying
low.
we've got 9:30 left.
Warning, fuel low. 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 Warning,
knots.
fuel low. Warning, 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 fuel low. Warning,
Whoa,
fuel
look at that.
low.
Crosswind.
Warning, fuel low. 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 Warning,
Did the gear not
fuel
come down?
low.
Why is it going wrong?
Warning, fuel low.
Oh, maybe it did. It just makes a lot of noise. Now we've got to make an embarrassing phone call to the base and say, can you come and fill us
Warning,
up?
fuel low.
So obviously we could shoot.
Warning,
Oh, we had
fuel
lots left. Though.
low.
I say a lot, 130.
Warning, fuel low. Warning,
Okay, let's go and turn it round and take it over the valley. Is it still fluttering on the... No, it isn't. Interesting. Look at that wind. Pass over towards Carnarvon again then. Out towards Valley. Do it properly this time. So for Valley, what direction's the wind? Oh, it's a crosswind. Oh dear. So runway 31. Menai Strait just coming up. Turn towards Valley. It's a crosswind and a half, isn't it? It's going to be too tempting. We'll have to park by the F-15s, won't we? Now, to get to the button for the... Can we get it? There it is. Oh, wrong way. And then if you want the support kit around the airplane, you can go into the main menu and go to config and go chocks, ladder, covers, ground power cart, and obviously you can put the tow bar on and the ground tow and so on and so forth. And there they are, they're slowly appearing. Oh, there you go. So that's the YF-23A in Flight Sim 2024. So I have made a procedure for starting it up. I will link it in the video after finishing the live stream because I've pretty much confirmed that it works correctly. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon. So that's the YF-23A. Take care. See you soon.